Welcome everyone to another episode of Konya Mario. We are here, yes, at episode 48 to bring you the latest in Hello Project news. We actually managed to get 2 shows in a row. Yay!
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 So hopefully we can keep this up. Most likely not, but we'll see. We have actually a very large studio today. If you remember from last time, we were under construction. It was actually to expand our studio. So we have actually now we can fit another seat in the studio. So let me introduce you to our guest this week. First off, we have from everywhere, Turbos86.
Yeah.
Yay, so famous. Next we have from almost everywhere, but not so much, Invis.
I'm back, yo!
Yay. And then we have Bex, who's always mad.
Sup?
Returning again this week, we have Kyyuna.
Yo!
And making his first time appearance ever on this show, we have Dran.
Yo.
To give us some balance on berries talk, even though none of the topics will have
Patch.
Yay, no berries.
Wait, there's not gonna be any berries?
Nope.
Nope.
What am I doing here then?
Good question.
Click!
The door's
figure out.
over there.
Yeah.
You can walk out and take the bus.
You just have to go bring in one of the animals from outside, though, so that we can replace you. Well.
Yeah, this week was supposed to be Cheese on the show, but since Dran took his spot,
Sorry, Ayacho.
sorry. Cheese will be on next week. It's okay. So let's get on to some breaking news. Yay, double tracks. So, Tsunku is at the National Songwriters Award ceremony this year. He didn't win the main prize, but he did win a 2-shot with Aki P. Yay!
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that picture floating around all over the internet.
Oh homo.
Yeah, ex-homo.
Well, that's not
All
one
of the
shot.
homo.
It's weird, especially what they photoshopped onto the original picture. It makes it even more weird, so why don't you guys take a look? I'm sure it'll be out somewhere.
Yeah, I think the internet is scarier than the actual picture itself.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
They're the ones who took it.
The internet is stupid. That's what
That also is true.
What about alienating your audience? Where do you think we are?
Well, we're in a
our
studio,
studio.
so
Yeah, this isn't internet. This is like, radio.
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll see what everybody else thinks about that then.
Right. So on to our next topic. Headline. Big news actually from the headquarters of UFA. So earlier this week, Oto's found out that UFA has posted job applications for a new manager position now open. Yay! So if you guys have ever wanted to get closer to the Hello Project girls in a more professional, less creepy way, you can apply for this.
Like that's ever
secretly
happened to
creepy.
anybody who listens to this show.
Can one of you guys copy and paste the link to the thing in chat? The MyNavi link? Thank you. So, for you guys who are listening, you can click on it right now as we go along and give you a breakdown of what's going on. So, the position is a location manager, and what that means is they are looking for someone to basically take the girls to whatever location they have a job at, and then take them back. When you take them there, you have to be there the entire time to watch. Unlike Esto, you can't leave and go off to Shinoko to get some lunch.
No Korean barbecue
I
till
love it.
after your job.
Yes.
Aww.
Damn.
So you have to do that. You have to take care of any payments that's required for whatever
What? Out of my own
locations.
pocket? What?
I'm sure they'll give you a budget, or you get reimbursed or something.
Reimburse, please.
Actually, you know what? You get paid so much though that I actually.
They probably aren't going to reimburse you on that. It's like that's part of your pay
Yeah.
compensation.
Yeah.
Do you think it also involves payment money to gangsters?
to the AKB gangsters running the
Well, those
streets.
two.
Yeah. So yes, and perhaps the most important thing of all, you have to maintain the health of the artists that you are working for. Which is
Remember to beat them.
that's exactly what we think it means in terms of actual work. So you just have to go to the nearest konbini and buy some sandwiches for them. Remember, triple egg sandwich, best one.
Original bento.
Original
did.
metal always works. Yeah.
So basically, they want a babysitter, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not.
Pretty much. The job isn't very difficult. You just have to go there, watch them, make sure they don't run away, and then take them home. I mean,
Well,
you have to be careful about Machan, you know? She gets lost pretty easily.
That's okay.
You
There's
take
another-
care of
another
them, so
fun
you know.
Watching.
You're pretty much the umbrella guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
it's just. Well, one of the things I guess I would want to point out to this is now you know what Japan means by the word manager.
Babysitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although to be
Oh,
fair,
okay.
I'm sure the chief managers do a bit more work, but
I'm sure they have a lot more.
Oh yeah,
work.
they get like Hello Proton cameras. and
yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
stuff.
But that just shows you the wide range. I mean, it goes all the way down to
Right.
you know, you show up for an event and you babysit pretty much.
Yeah. Now we know why Ota Saku quit.
So let's
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
let's get on to the requirements of the job. So you need at least a college level education, which in Japan is actually a big deal, unlike perhaps
Yep.
the rest of the world. You need to have a driver's license, which is also a big deal in Japan.
Kinda sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that disqualifies most of the people here. So for turbos.
We're too
Oh,
lazy.
Gina.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got one. I'm
Yeah,
good.
we're good. All right.
Yeah.
So those are the bare minimum requirements. The next thing you need. Sorry, these next couple of things are recommended but not required. One, prior experience is a big plus. Two, being able to speak another language such as French, Chinese, or English helps. I'm not sure how if you're doing a Japanese event, but maybe they're looking for overseas managers.
They're looking for people to regulate people like Ouroboros who will go up and say things, and then they're like, wait,
Hey
let's get the
you!
one
No,
guy
she's
who
jumping.
knows the other language.
Yeah, that does make a little sense. Yeah, I can see that. So let's get on to the details of the job. They don't tell you the hours, but I assume it's going to be like any standard Japanese job. There is an initial probation period for 3 months. Your annual salary. Let me get this math right. 2 million or 28 million?
$1 million.
2,850,000 yen per year is your annual salary. That works out to roughly 345,000 US dollars or 270,000 euros per year.
Nice.
They make
not
more
too
than
bad,
I
actually.
would
Where'd I
make
apply?
in my
Where'd
future
I
job.
It's a pretty nice position.
For the
Definitely.
amount of money you're getting paid, that's
Just to
pretty
babysit?
crazy.
Just
That's
to babysit, yeah.
Well, to be-
By lunch
to babysit
300
go
grand
for-
at least.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Where did I
Sure,
sign
it's
up?
no walk in the park, especially if you're not a people person and you've got a bunch of, older, probably stockier people kind of wanting to push you down to get at the people behind you, kind of thing.
I would take that for 300,000 a year.
I-
I'm okay.
I-
with that.
Considering looking at what I'm currently going to be paid in the future, oh man.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, I think a lot of us think that this is probably an easier job if we could.
yeah.
yes, honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
all we
Makes
have
you
to
wonder
do
what
is
the
look.
college experience is for, though.
I don't know. But the thing is, these kind of manager jobs usually don't last long.
Yeah, they're
That's
not
true.
very stable. That's why when people talk about, or when people know a manager, it's usually, or rather, when a manager becomes famous within the fan community, it's because they've been around since debut, and that's a very rare thing. And even if you manage to land a job for a couple of years, you get shuffled around a lot, even within the company. So
Yeah, you won't end up with just one person.
Yeah, there's never a sense of stability unless you're. No, actually, even Manatee, she's been shuffled around quite a bit.
Yeah, but she's kind of the more stable compared.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's throw some hypotheticals out there. If you were able to land this job, for you guys, who would you want to manage?
Let's disclaimer that at the beginning with the statement though that if you really were to get this job, you probably wouldn't get anybody that you would want.
Of course.
True.
Well, sure, but
I'd be the
We can dream,
manager
can't we?
of girls, man.
You would, I think if you said Up Girls in your interview, you would be instantly hired.
Hired.
You gotta think outside the box, man.
You want them?
You
Really?
Like,
Okay.
of all the
fine.
groups to pick, you want them? Okay.
I would go for Bono.
Bono doesn't do much.
Bono only does like 2 cons a
That's
year.
why.
You probably only
Obviously.
work 2 months out of the year.
That's
Yeah.
good.
The rest of the
Probably
time
say
they
that
make
he
you sit
needs
in the
to do
office
something
to answer calls.
Yeah, answer phone calls from the fact.
No, I bet like he does like the filming for the Smilage Ustream show.
Or you'd have to be
Holding
there
the
like
camera.
for Satoyama, and you'd have to stand there in the field the entire time or something.
While it's raining or something.
Yeah.
To watch like Kanon plant strawberries or something.
Okay.
That'd work.
If I get paid that much a year, I don't mind.
Right.
No joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty interesting. I guess I hope you guys are able to check out the link that we had in chat. If you have any cool comments, feel free to share with us in the comment section of the VOD or in the live stream chat right now. Didn't say when the deadline for the application is. I don't think.
Meaning they're desperate and they just want somebody to answer.
They just want somebody. So, give it a shot. Might as well. You never know. Assuming you. speak
Sanrio were
Japanese.
here, we would probably be telling him to take a shot, huh?
I would be telling him to not take a shot.
I
stay
don't know.
away
I'd,
from
I'd want him
idols.
to take a shot just to hear the story about him getting kicked out and like thrown out of the
He's
building.
gonna be like, no, but I work at Takamario. It's this legit. I've had prior experience.
Actually,
And then they'd kick him even harder.
that does bring up an interesting topic though, because usually when fans talk about the kind of requirements you'd expect from a manager, usually the one thing people expect is that you're not allowed to be like a fan of the group, or you would be instantly rejected. But I guess it doesn't actually say anything like that.
I'm actually thinking they would rather not have somebody like that.
Right, but
Yeah.
he's
Well,
saying
yeah.
that they didn't
And-
specifically say that.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't bother to because that's not the requirement. You're taking care of them as people, not as like
Right.
artists. Yeah.
It's probably understood. I mean, it's really strongly implied. I don't think any OTAs would actually apply for this.
Yeah.
I hope not, at least. I don't know.
I
But-
think it would be kind of foolish. You'd be giving up a lot of your life in order to be, I don't know.
Well, I imagine, like, at the first hint of unprofessionalism, you get kicked out, and you're probably easy really to spot in terms of, like, if you're a fan or not, just based on how you interact when you are so close around the girls. So, I can't imagine,
Fake
like,
it.
a real fan be able to stay hidden for that long as that job. But then if you can, and maintain that level of professionalism, then I don't see why not, but
And you're fine.
then you're fine.
Kind
but-
of seems like a shallow victory though, because you'd never be able to really celebrate it.
Yeah, which is probably why real fans would
Nobody
never apply
bothers,
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would rather freak out in front of them than.
Then
Well, maybe
they
for a
yell at
dare.
them to eat their veggies.
Well, if you're
Like
making
you, like you
bank,
get the job and then you just to see how long you can last without doing that.
Like 2 hours.
I mean, if you're in the job market searching for a new job, then might as well. But
Yeah.
you already have a job like most fans.
I don't know. I guess for
They don't.
for
care.
me, like if you're getting paid that much, I could be professional and put my fanny aside.
I have
I
doubts
could do
about
that.
that statement.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
really doubt that too.
in person, honestly, I don't feel like I'm the person who like gets shocked at easily.
I also
I
have
don't-
doubts
right.
about that statement.
Well, I mean, okay, concerts aside, but like outside, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, but you
Job
have to
will
take them
be
to
at
concerts.
the concert.
Yeah, your job will be at
Okay.
lives and things. So
I could just sit there and
You're gonna
chant
be
in my
like
head.
from the side and have glow sticks on.
Yeah, yeah. The
If it's
audio
on-
controller is gonna kick you out.
I know.
It's a different
I'm
story.
like, dude, stop mixing. You're getting into my track feed.
All right, you got me there.
Yeah, so it's not gonna work,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So I think all of us are disqualified from this position. That's unfortunate.
Oh.
But if any
you'd
of you,
expect it.
yeah, if any of you listeners out there want to give it a try, feel free and let us know how it goes out if you actually do apply. Be an interesting episode for the show.
Yeah.
On that note, let's move on to the main topics for the show. You guys may or may not know that recently the latest issue of Top Yell magazine had a big spread on Morning Musume. I think all of Color Project as well, but the main coverage was on Morning Musume, and it was particularly about this new set of girls that they have dubbed the Colorful Era, and they prefaced this whole interview with a giant statement, a bold statement on the front cover saying the Colorful Era is now surpassing the Golden Era, Morning Musume.
Hmm?
Very big statements
Mhm.
for a cover of a magazine,
Mhm.
in which they talk a lot about all the different things of Morning Musume. The biggest thing that we're going to cover for this episode is a solo interview with Sayu about the recent Reina graduation announcement and what's going to happen next year. So,
The fact that we're all dreading it aside.
Sayu.
very appropriate.
Sorry.
So let's move on. So in the first part of the interview that we're going to cover with Sayu, they ask, or rather, Sayu talks about kind of the state of Morning Musume, particularly the younger girls, as soon as, or rather, in reaction to the Reina announcement. I'm sure we covered last time, and as well as there are translations from the blogs of the 9th and 10th gen members, so you should be somewhat familiar with the reactions of all the girls to the Reina graduation announcement. They also covered this as well in their radio shows. I believe we covered that on a Radio Friday a week or however many weeks ago. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out because essentially all of them think that they're sad about the announcement and all. At the same time, it was very upbeat, upright, positive announcement. So they're already looking towards moving on and looking at Momusu post Reina. So in this interview, I know, cannot believe it. So this. So in this interview, Sayu says, particularly the 9th and 10th gen, have not been handling the Reina graduation announcement in the way that she had hoped that they would be. And what she means by this is that a lot of the girls have already started saying, "Oh, I need to work harder. I need to improve in this, and this, so that when Reina grads, or by the time that spring comes around, I'll be ready to take over this role. I'll be ready to take over these new responsibilities. We need to prepare to, take over the whatever gaps will be left behind when Reina leaves the group next spring." And Sayu says, "No, that's not the response that I want to see from these girls right now," which is interesting because it sounds like, at first glance, that's the appropriate response, or the proper response, because they're kind of stepping up their game and they're preparing themselves for what's going to happen in the future. But instead, Sayu says, "No, what I want the girls to do right now is to focus on the present and focus on the time left they have with Reina and learn as much as they possibly can. Because look what we have in Reina. We have essentially the ace of Morning Musume, 10 years of experience, high singing talent, always frontline in whatever event they do, why would you not take this opportunity? You only have half a year left. You should learn as much as you can to improve yourself for the future, instead of looking beyond the future and just without taking Reina into consideration or taking advantage that you have Reina to learn from. So that was the main gist of her reaction to how the 9th and 10th Gen have initially reacted to the Reina grad announcement. Do you guys have any initial thoughts about this statement?
You know, Sayu makes it sounds like the new girls all are thinking of which line we can grab from Tanaka-san when she's gone.
Right. I mean, they're probably she's probably thinking they're already thinking about the distribution, like how many will go to Riho and then how many they can scrounge up after that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, the young girls they're all worried about that kind of stuff. They don't show it in front of other people, but we all know that they have this kind of war between them. How Riho's already on top.
Right.
And all the other girls have to do whatever they can to cover up whatever ground they can get.
Right.
So this is like a great opportunity for the other girls to gain ground on Riho. So.
Right. That's a good point. At Reina grad, this does free up a lot of lines for everyone else.
A lot of lines.
They're all gonna go to Riho though, for sure.
Yeah. Morning Musume feet.
I wouldn't think that would happen for anything that's been out since Riho joined, though. That's more how you like. That would have to be more evenly distributed.
Yeah, but they don't really do any of the work before. They don't sing any of those songs much anymore.
That's true. But I mean, that would be a thing where, like, once anything old that hasn't already had 9th and 10th in it would probably go to Riho. I imagine a lot of it would.
True, it would.
But other than that, I mean, because otherwise it lopsides it even more than it used to be. And I know when Koha graduated, Sayu got some of her lines in distribution, and it just became where it was a little lopsided, but they don't sing those songs anymore either.
True.
So,
No,
why
another
don't
way
they
to
sing
look
these songs? They're good songs.
Another way to look at this is what the girls, the younger girls are doing, or what the company is telling them to do. To say, oh, we're trying to make this into a positive event. We're looking forward into what's after, and not staying with the positive mood of the announcement. Instead, Sayu wants them to say what they really want to do, and just be at the present. But then maybe that these new girls don't care at all. That's why they don't say how they want to spend more time with Reina. Well, Machan did say that, but the other girls, they don't seem like they really care. So maybe that's what Sayu's trying to say.
That's actually a very good point. I mean, so the girls, they, regardless of whatever emotions they will share next spring, they've only been there for like less than 2 years. So how close can they really get to Reina?
They can't share the same feelings that Sayu has.
Right.
Well, that's part of the problem with how things are being run lately for everybody, I think. I mean, we're all thinking that we're running through these generations fast and we're burning really quickly. So it does prevent you from properly kind of getting a grip on anything, including letting these girls kind of hang on to each other well enough that they're close, besides Mahjong.
But isn't that Morning Musume?
That
It is.
the original Morning Musume, which it's different from how we ran through that Platinum era. So we're kind of getting back into the groove of things ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, even if you're talking about like the original era, I mean, how long was Nachi there? I mean, even though there was still heavy rotation coming in and out at times, there was always kind of a base, I guess, that people kind of connected to. And I guess for Sayu, you know, at this point, Reina is one of those kind of bases because 10 years. I mean, that's kind of why 10 years comes up as a thing.
Right. So, yeah, be very interesting to see what happens. Yeah, any other
Everybody
thoughts?
could be crying in spring anyway. It's all gonna be tears in spring, except for Reina.
So that, I mean, that's like kind of the funny thing that I see actually in a lot of the foreigner discussions of the graduations, because they're always like, oh, these. Whenever they read the translations or see the video footage of the new girls crying and wailing at these graduation ceremonies, they're always like, oh, that's so touching how she cares so much. And
Right.
it'll be like Ai-chan's thing, right? Like, they just joined, they don't even know her name. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? They're not that close. They're just crying for the sake of show. And
Yep.
yeah, you should not take those
Well,
statements.
I imagine there is some kind of like, I imagine their point of view is also valid in some way as well, because a lot of these girls were fans of the group before they joined. So
They say that a lot in their previous interviews, but I mean, really, I don't think that is actually the case for any of the girls except for Fuku-chan.
really,
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think?
Eddie Pong for real now.
Yeah, it'd be fun to find out. But you know what? Let's throw it back to Dran, since you brought it up. I mean, so what gives you that impression? What gives you the vibe of their fans prior to joining?
well, I don't know if there would be like full on OTA, as it were, but
Okay.
I imagine they wouldn't actually apply or like audition for a group if they didn't have some interest in actually being part of that and in the group itself beforehand.
Or they can just want to be famous.
Well,
Well, if they wanted to be
there's
famous,
that, but-
there are a lot of other groups out there.
yeah. And Sync generally does a good job of trying to weed those girls out, like in the early stages anyway.
That's very true. And to pick this group of all the groups to audition for, it's not, if money is your primary objective, this is not the best choice.
Yeah, because the chances of getting picked are actually, well, you're up against quite a lot of other people to actually get into the group.
Right, and the UFA, all of the UFA groups are not popular, or not in the moment, in the spotlight anymore compared to the other idol groups out there.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, the other idol groups that are more on the rise and maybe better to get into, like, can lead to a potential better career
Yeah.
afterwards. The thing is, though, there's very interesting discussion about that's been kind of going on and off the past couple of months. Almost always revolving around Edipon, because everyone sees her as kind of the go-to Ota of Morning Musume at the moment. And the thing is, they call her a business girl because she does her fan character very well, and you know that makes all of the Edipon fans like her. But at the same time, everyone thinks that, well, first of all, everyone knows that she comes from an AKB background, and Hello Pro was not really in her mind at all until she joined, or until she
Right.
passed the audition. So they're saying the only reason she's in the group right now, and the only reason she's, you know, trying hard, is just to make money. And now that she's secured a position, everything she does afterwards is just to maintain her status quo in the group. Shocking
So-
for you Western
Fans
fans,
over
might-
gasped.
So she became the free promotion for merchandise. Pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, with the type of character that she has created, it's a really good way to bridge, like all the stuff that she releases on the Upfront Online channel. It's a good way
Yeah.
to bridge the fans, or to, I guess, convince the fans to buy them, because
Right,
she uses all the terminology the fans use at the same time, and she treats the goods the same way we treat the goods. So,
Hug.
very smart. And Fuku-chan says, "Wear those gloves when you touch those L pictures."
But yeah, I mean, naturally, I think it's making use of her talents. Now, whether or not it was something that they said, you know, maybe that's why we'll pick her because we've done our background research and we know, or whether it's more or less because, you know, she made that assertion on her own, I wouldn't be able to say. But either way, it's a smart business plan. I mean, you're just asking for it. It's like, here, all this knowledge, appeal to the market of people who want, you know, to be relatable
Right.
to
Yeah.
the idol they hire. It just works out well that way.
Right. Back to the original point, though. I think a lot of girls consider themselves Morning Musume fans, or rather, the 9th and 9th and 10th gen girls consider themselves Morning Musume fans, as well as their families, because they always refer to their mom and dad buying them CDs of however long ago, because of the fact that like they say, oh yeah, I listened to Love Machine a lot back in the day, or I listened to Daito Hold On Me or something, or whatever back in the day, right? And the thing is though, you know, back then all of Japan did, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
mainstream at the time.
right. So I think that's, I mean, they see that as like, oh yeah, I'm a fan, I listen to that song. And
But do you think that being mainstream or not really kind of devalues your own fandom?
well, I think it's complicated because of how the popularity of Momosu has changed so much over the past 5-10 years that I think at least when they start using the word fan to us, it has much different implications of when it was, say, 2003, 2002, when everyone considered themselves a Momosu fan.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it could be just, you know, kind of a lost in translation thing where people are using words to mean different things, like fan, and it's just a disconnect between the actual fans and then the girls in the business. But what do you guys think?
Totally agree.
It definitely feels like that kind of break. Just that everybody interprets the word fan so much differently now.
Right.
Even-
Yeah, everyone colors it their own personal way. Like,
So
I think
that's-
everyone imagines himself as the perfect fan, and
Really?
anyone who doesn't, well, sure. I imagine you guys also think of yourselves as being the perfect fans,
Nope.
don't you?
No, I know
Nope.
how much Reina fans spend, and I'm pretty ashamed of.
Yeah,
calling
I've seen
myself-
I've seen the greater fandom, and I bow at its
It's
awesomeness.
quite a humbling experience to
Well-
be around the crazy guys.
Well, what I mean is that you generally use yourself as kind of like the measuring stick which you use to measure all other fans.
Okay.
Like the guys, you respect the people who you think of as being better fans than you, and you generally don't as the respect the people who you feel as being less of a fan than you.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
forgot where I was going with this.
That's Konya for you. Come here. You mean to say one thing, and then
You're
your
already
brain's
a
gonna
veteran
wander.
with the show. That's pretty awesome.
I was going somewhere with it, but I can't remember for the life of me where it was.
Well, so it sounds like, with the whole, I guess, looking at the definition of fan, with all the different like values, you want to normalize all the activities based on your own personal level of activity.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. Because no one really, like, I don't think anyone has, like, a concrete definition of what makes a fan a good fan. And so the only thing you can do is kind of judge that based on what you yourself are like as a fan.
That makes sense.
I think that's very true for the Western community when you're you don't have the privilege of going to the events all the time. You're not with the other people all the time.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's you know, the Western community, most of your fandom activity is done online. You know, at home. You're
Digitally.
not right digitally, and you're not, you know, in the physical presence of other fans. So that's probably, I imagine, where a lot of that stems from. So it does make it a lot harder to, I guess, kind of gauge what exactly your level of fandom is.
Right.
That probably does lead to a lot of all the people on HO calling themselves the #1 fans without actually knowing what real fans are like.
Oh, I always
Well,
thought that
there
was
was-
just a weird sense of not knowing how to count.
Okay, that works too.
Well, you used the term there yourself, the real fan. And that just kind of go back to my point that from their perspective, they are a real fan, regardless of what your opinions of a real fan are,
Right.
or what the Japanese
Right.
ota's opinions are.
All right, that's very true. And really, I mean, for the sake of this discussion, it's really, I guess, not too important to kind get too picky about the definition of fan, because really everyone
Yeah.
can enjoy this in their own way.
Of course.
I guess it's just in terms of like doing things that actually keep the company going. I get that's when you get into where money becomes like the primary definition, I would say. But sure, the definition of fan really has no specific guidelines, and there's really no way to define, all the different people around the world in terms of what they do to enjoy these girls.
Yeah.
So
Well,
very,
and
very valid point.
To take it back a little bit, because I mean we are talking about this in terms of them as members and them joining and their perspective on this whole
Right.
Vinograd thing. I mean the thing about calling yourself a fan is just easily, I guess, relatable to the point of just admiration, where you could just say, I'm a fan because I admire what they do, and they're in the same business, obviously. So
Right.
when you use the term fan and you're within the business, it kind of you can kind of get a different sense to it. I mean,
Yeah.
for them, it could just be the same as, this is my model, like my role model,
Right.
too. So
Very true.
you can go with that.
As you guys can see, though, this is a very long discussion that could potentially lead on to hours and hours of talk. We don't, fortunately, have.
We didn't
that
even
much
get into
time.
the. We didn't even get to the Chayu thing, like
know.
all the scientists do it, but that's okay.
Caillou.
Forums. We have forums for that.
Yes.
Pointing.
So if you want to
Space
continue
Suit
this discussion, please head over to our forums or on the comments of this VOD and leave your thoughts. On that note, let's move on to. Let's see, is this the last one? No. Second to last point from. Oh, actually, this is the last point from Top Yell magazine. Again, it is part of the solo Sayu interview, and in this part, she talks about how Reina, in the era of Momusu when Aichan was leader, was actually in a phase of life where she really couldn't connect with anyone, and no one around her really understood her true feelings, and she didn't have anyone to share that with. At first thought, that comes off as kind of like an alarm, because everyone's thinking, or maybe most people are thinking, what about Aika? Did Sayu already forget about her? Yes. But Sayu goes into some detailed history about the 10 years that Reina has been in Momosu, and she starts off with when Reina first joined. Things were very different. She acted very differently than she does now. When she first joined Momosu, she was very open, very honest, very, I guess, public about her emotions, and she was, I guess you can say, an amateur in the field, as she just joined the entertainment industry. So she didn't really have a lot of her barriers set up yet. And so one of the things that Sayu points out is that, like, for example, at Ida's graduation, she actually cried on stage, which is something you really can't imagine Reina doing now, unless it's over something silly like karaage or something. Or karaoke.
Someone releasing pictures that they shouldn't on the internet,
Or that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's rare nowadays to see Reina displaying, raw emotion in a public public venue. That era of kind of the raw Reina changed around the time Aichan became leader of the group, and Sayu says what happened was there was some kind of big change. She doesn't know why or all the things behind it, but Reina pushed herself to become the strong image, the strong-willed girl of the group, and she doesn't know the motive behind it, but she knows that Reina tried really hard to basically hide all perceptions of weakness in her character, so that she could be like the one strong leader to lead the group, even though Aichan was the leader at the time.
Totally makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that Aichan was on the emotional side of the girls, and there was Gaki there, so I'm not sure why Reina felt the need to take that responsibility herself, but then again, they didn't really like each other, so that could be another thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But there's a different angle to that. I mean, if you plot it out in terms of relationships, because
Right.
Ai-chan was really, she was the squishy leader out of all the leaders, sort of. Not in terms of like weak, but just gentle, softer,
Right.
or frantic. And even though Gaki was there being sub-leader, she was more like trying to kind of fortify the Ai-chan thing. So needing somebody tough makes sense. Reina's, kind of looking ahead in that way. I think
Right.
it was, best plan.
Right. However, Sayu says that all changed when 9th and 10th Gen joined, and Reina again had a complete change of character back to not to so much the earlier points where she's letting weakness show out, but more she's letting people into her life again. And yes,
Yeah.
Sayu credits.
I really thought that was Delikun for a moment.
So Sayu does credit a majority of this change to Machan, and as has been described multiple times by various different people, the younger girls really tore down the wall that was protecting Reina for the past however many years, which is really interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts about the progression of Reina's character over these past 10 years?
Yeah.
Let's leave it to Turbos, 'cause, number one, counting numbers.
Number one, self-proclaimed, and all that stuff.
At least no, I wouldn't want to say in the room either, because then we'll have an argument with that.
Yeah.
Go, Turbos, just because I said your name first.
Well, back when Aizen was leader, it was 9 girls, and you can look at it in the sense that they all had their own kind of pairings, as Western fans would call it. You had Aigaki, you had Sayeri. You had the 2 Chinese girls,
Yeah.
which they don't actually really like each other, but sure. And then somehow Aika and Koharu actually kind of were okay together, being the 2 younger girls.
But
or youngest girls. So that left Lena all to herself. That could also be one reason why she had to put up a front to make it look like, oh well, I don't need any of you.
Very
Not
possible.
that she wanted to act tough, but she's just like whatever.
Right. It's very interesting to see actually back in that era to find out how close Sayu Eddie actually were together, and instead of the whole 6th Gen together as most generations tend to be. And like after Eddie graduated, all the stuff that started coming out from Sayu on various like TV shows and DVDs and whatnot, how they pretty much spent all of their time together and almost always ignored Reina, unless there was some work together to be done.
So you saying this stuff now is like, please think about what you did.
Well, it's not just that, though. I mean, we've always had the perception that Reina kept her life separated on purpose. I mean, she always does that thing where it's like, these are my friends, and I go karaoke with my friends, and then this is my work, and this is what I do for work. So,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was an intentional, like, oh, maybe we should stay away from her because she wants to keep it separate, or it was just kind of a misconception that they couldn't try.
I think it
But
goes
they
both
didn't.
ways.
Probably does go a little both. Very interesting though, you bring that up because I believe it was a couple episodes back on Reina Time. They were talking about shortly after Reina announced her graduation. Time Machine asked Reina about how she felt about Sayu and how everything was going to work out afterwards, and she said that Sayu, she doesn't actually consider Sayu a friend. She considers her like the closest work colleague that she has.
Business partner.
Yeah. So she does keep a very strong delineation between private and work, which is very interesting
not-
to see.
Yeah, it's not that they don't talk to each other off work,
Right.
but she tries to. Well, I know, it's not just Lena that does it, but you, I think it's just this kind of delusion that most fans have that we see them on screen and you think like, oh, they're so close.
Right.
But in reality, it's like if you think about your own life and people at school or at your work, when you leave that setting, sometimes you really don't want to think about those people. Or yeah, no.
I mean, not to get statistics, but that's generally the problem with society today, right? Because a lot of people are talking about how work hours are getting harsher because the economy sucks for a lot of countries, and that in the end, the only people that you have to interact with, unless you take a lot of effort to make the extra time, is the people that you work with. I mean, people talk about office romance statistics and all of that all the time.
That's right.
Whoa, why so deep?
Well, I think
Wanted to say my piece.
Yeah.
this, like, her personality switched to kind of being a bit more closed off. When was that? When does Sayu claim that happened?
When Ai-chan took leadership.
Right. See, I'm thinking that maybe that's just like her idea of what a senpai is supposed to be like. Because when she joined, it was just after the Nakazawa era. So she would have been kind of used to the stories of how Nakazawa, how she was as a leader and as a senpai, and I think that kind of defined the group for quite a few years after that. And so maybe she kind of looked up to Yuko and the other senpai at that time and thought, okay, that's the kind of senpai I want to be.
That's a very good point, actually. It's very possible for that, because we know that the 5th and 6th gen are always saying, we grew up in the harsh times, we knew what it was like, we had like a real upbringing, and they're always saying to the younger girls, like, you guys have it easy right now with all this at-home musume stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, very possibly that could be the case.
Well, Lena was very tough on Jinjin and then.
I think she just didn't like Jinjin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's possible
Alright.
too.
Well, she was tough on Aika too.
Yes, that's true. She's very tough on Aika.
Not that
which-
she doesn't like Aika.
Right, and it's funny when Aika passed that down to the 9th and 10th gen, like when we saw for the first time on...
Do you practice at home?
Yeah, on Hello Pro Time, and all the
Oh.
autos were like, why is Aika so mean? She made Mizuki cry. But that's how it is.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always awesome to see those behind the scenes footage like that, so we kind of get a glimpse of what actually goes on, and for a little bit it ruins a little illusion of how we all think the members relate to each other. But it gives us more to think about how things might actually be and how the dynamics come into play.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. It's too bad.
And remind us that they're not perfect.
Right.
Zuki aside, because I know we kind of rag on Zuki a lot. Exactly. Awkward silence taken.
We'll just leave it at that. No more comments.
Yep.
Hey, there we go.
On that note, why don't we move on to the last thing Sayu had to say. So this wasn't from Top Yell, but it's actually from an interview with DView over actually the Aloholo photo book release event. I believe they had a handshake a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago.
A week?
Very recently, they had a handshake
Yeah,
event
not too
very
long
recently. So, and she said in this interview that in this most recent Hawaii fan club tour trip in which they filmed the Aloholo, that, so obviously Sayu and Reina has been in Momusu for 10 years together, and they have been to Hawaii countless times for all their events in the past, all their Aloholos, all their fan club tours. This was the first time that Sayu actually spent almost all her time, according to her, with Reina together, and I guess Sayu really actually, when was the Aloholo? It was back in spring, right?
No,
The
August.
backup tour?
Yeah, was it in August?
Yeah.
Okay.
Summer, yeah.
So I guess she already knew by then, because she says she wanted to make the most out of this time and spend a lot of time with Reina as much as she possibly could. So they actually ended up going out to dinner, shopping, and whatnot. All these activities together, just the two of them. And Sayu, going back to what she said in the Top Y'all magazine interview, is really trying to make the most of her time with Reina in the small amount of time that she has left in the group. This is really interesting to see that. I guess so. For Sayu and Reina, who've been working together for 10 years now, we get a lot of hints of now from Sayu blog, from Reina blog, from this interview, as well as other DVDs and TV shows that for the first time they're really starting to hang out together and starting to get to know each other. This kind of started when Eddie left back in 2010 or whatever. That Sayu said she now is basically forced to get to know the other girls because she no longer has Eddie to rely on to be her hangout partner.
Buddy.
Yeah, to be her buddy all the time. And so it seems like, well, she said initially that she has started to spend a lot more time with Reina, but then no details ever materialized out of that. But now we kind of see, like, now that Reina only has like 5-6 months left, that Sayu is really starting to get on the ball about this and actually making an effort to spend time with her. And this is kind of the thing you see every time a graduation comes about. Everyone starts to say, "Oh, you know what? She's leaving soon. I guess I should start hanging out with her now."
Yep.
I guess the biggest example off the top of my head is when Eddie Junlin graduated. Ai-chan all of a sudden started hanging out with Linlin every day. And by the time the graduation came around, she was really sad to see Linlin gone. But then after Linlin left, they forgot about
Well, they still kind of say happy birthday to each other on their blogs and stuff, I guess.
They get mentions every once in a while.
I guess.
Yeah, that's still okay. It's not like the other girls, they don't
Usually
mention
it's
it.
just really small things, though. It's like, I got an email from her, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we do see these like swells in a relationship every time someone graduates. It's like, oh,
That's human
well,
nature.
you're leaving. I guess I should get to know you now.
yeah. Well, I guess the biggest deception for us, or rather the thing that makes it blurrier for us in terms of knowing when it started, is that I think a lot of people thought it happened just because, you know, they were the only two that were near the same age left. So a lot of people just had assumed that it was more because, oh, I need somebody kind of closer to my age to talk with, and you know, we don't know whether or not she already knew that it was coming or not.
I guess.
Yeah, we actually don't know, or she didn't specify whether or not she already knew at the time. But it would be interesting to see, like, if she didn't know, and she just happened to take the initiative to start spending time together. That would be actually be pretty interesting to see. Like, what, of all things, why now? After being together for so long, and it's already been quite a bit since Eddie has left, but she never took the time to. I guess she's been in like her little diho craze for the past.
Well,
years.
and Sayu also could have hang on to Ai-chan, so.
Which
Right,
she
that's
did,
true.
because they were
Right.
going through that
Yeah.
whole thing.
So after they left it, then Lena was all that's left.
It's like, fine, now I'll hang out with you. That's.
Well, after Lena's gone, she can enjoy Mazan.
Yeah. So much.
She's probably
fun.
just gonna go back to hugging Riho all the time.
Yeah.
And
Iho doesn't have time for her.
He was too busy with work.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know. Do you guys think any of the other girls will start to show this as well over the next 5 or 6 months as we approach graduation?
Oh, totally. When they make them do morning days DVD, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah. That's definitely.
Well, okay, not
Um,
counting like the stuff that they're
Work.
forced to do, but you know, on their own time. I mean, like, so now 9th, 10th, they all have. Or actually, this can extend out to the rest of Hollow Project as well, because there's Tanaka Gundan with the rest of the group, and almost everyone does have blogs now. So, I mean, do you
Yeah.
expect to see any sort of like, oh, I'm hanging out with Reina every day now from any of the
Well,
girls?
with the non-morning Musume Hello Project members, I don't think they're making too much of an effort, because if they're gonna, it doesn't concern them as much that she's leaving morning Musume. If like Maimi wants to hang with Lena, they can do it anytime.
Then
they
yeah, she's still gonna hang
Yeah.
out.
yeah.
So.
Okay.
Reina
Those are
probably
more-
doesn't want to though.
I don't know, but
But that's-
But then in comparison to the relationship between Reina and Sayu and Reina and say Maimi, then for sure the Reina and Maimi's relation is certainly more on a friendly level, as in the real friend than
As
business
opposed to
partner.
like the work relationship that they have.
Yeah.
between Sayu and Reina.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's not like we've actually seen them hang out outside of work, really. I mean, even
Who?
there was the one time that they both went to like 7-Eleven, but they
I
were still
guess.
they were off, for concerts, so that was still
Oh,
technically.
you mean
them in the
Sayu
work.
Reina?
Yeah, Sayu Reina, sorry.
Oh, so, okay.
Sorry, I backtracked a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, it's not like, even though Sayu and Reina are getting closer, it's not like it's extended beyond what normally happens with them anyway, in the sense that they're still kind of in the work setting because they're both on the trip for the concerts.
Right.
So it's not like she said, oh, let's go karaoke, and they went karaoke. It was just kind of more like, we're here for work, so let's hang out. And it's like, sure.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it'll progress for Sayu and Reina to go beyond that level then, to an actual friendship maybe? Or would Reina not allow that?
That
Doesn't
would-
I think it would
Sound
be
like it.
interesting if it would, but I don't think Reina would do that.
I mean, they had 10 years, so there's
Reina's
not
gonna go.
hell they're not gonna do it ever.
Reina's gonna go full Yankee mode after that. Screw
Rocker
everybody
man.
else.
She's gonna go.
Remember how you guys remember how when Gaksan left and Lena had this whole
The reconciliation of the war?
yes yes and now there's nothing. So what happened to that? It's just gonna be the same with Sayu.
They're at peace now, so...
To be honest,
Like nothing. No even mentions of anything.
Right.
They don't even stand together in pictures nowadays.
No, and there was that one thing, right? Like, Gaki didn't even acknowledge Reina's graduation announcement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that didn't happen.
That was pretty awesome. War's
Yeah.
back on, World War 3.
to be honest though,
Yeah.
I actually think Reina would be probably a lot more friendly with her new band members because they are like more her style,
No.
like more her personality maybe.
Right. Well, visually.
Visually, yeah, but I think personality-wise, absolutely not. I don't think Reina's into rock music at all.
Yeah.
And
Well,
she
we don't
doesn't-
know that. Obviously, she never actually mentioned it, or maybe wasn't
Well,
allowed,
all of the
right?
music that she talks about in terms of being like into a fad about, and like what she sings at karaoke, is all pop music.
Yep.
Golden Bomber.
And it's yeah.
Official K. That's Golden Bomber, right?
Right.
Right, yeah.
So that well,
Well,
that's
she
wrong.
listened to like Santaime, Soul Brothers.
Right, but Golden Bomber is like an air band, so they don't actually play instruments.
It's not very legitimate.
So it's
How silly is that? I didn't even know that.
It's
I don't know
awesome,
Golden Bomber.
but
so.
it's like when you see them perform live, it's an air band, so
Okay, that's pretty retarded.
It's more comedic than anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it's official K, so she must like the music.
Well, yeah,
No,
absolutely.
she just-
absolutely.
She,
She
likes how stupid they are. Okay? That's the reality.
They are pretty funny to watch. I'll give her that.
And it's also trendy right now in Japan. They're
It's very
going
trendy.
numbers making a big boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone, if you haven't already, learn the dance to Memishkite, and we'll all do it together. In a grad.
Okay. If she still cares by
If
then.
she's she'll probably switch off to like Big Bang again or something.
Yeah.
But if I could backtrack a little bit, you were saying like, do you think anyone outside of Morning Musume will like kind of spend more time with Reina in the lead up to the graduation?
Mhm.
I know that like apparently Masa tends to spend a lot of time, as much as she can anyway, with Reina during their off work hours. But like apparently they are pretty close, and you know Reina does kind of respect her because she's always had this thing where she treats Berries and Cute as senpai because they joined like 6 months before her or whatever.
Right.
But I don't actually think they would, like the other Hollow Project members would spend that much more time with her because their work schedules have never been very conducive for that, and I don't think that'll change now.
That's very true. I mean, the concerts and events are always out of sync with each other, so they really don't have much free time.
Yeah.
But I think it's like if they really wanted to, or if Reina really had someone to be close with, like for example Aika, she would make the time to do so. But I don't really see anyone that close or on that level of closeness. As far as current Hello members, I think the closest one for Berries that she's with is Captain, only because of the play that they did together.
Right.
But ever since then, I don't think they've talked to each other at all, so it probably has died down.
The same play that Masa was in?
Yes.
Yep.
The high
Okay.
high kara play.
Yep.
So I guess she got close to both Masa and Captain from that. From what I get from the blogs for both Captain and Reina, I think those two got a lot closer than Masa for some reason.
Right.
The only reason I say that is because Captain is now able to call Reina on a first name basis, and I don't think Masa does that yet.
Well, Masa hasn't really spoken much about Reina on her blog yet. And I don't really listen to radio shows much, so I couldn't really say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, out of Berries, they would probably be the top two.
Yeah.
I would say that would actually have a chance of wanting to spend time with Reina more because of the graduation.
I imagine they do kind of want to, but they just don't have the time.
Right.
It's much easier for a Morning Amusement member too, because usually they've got a kind of schedule that works together.
Right.
True. I just think it's not that they don't. The Hello members don't find it as a big deal, since Lena's staying with the company. She's just not going to be with Hello Project anymore. They're still gonna see her around the office and
Right.
Yeah.
She's in
still gonna
outline
run into
and
each other. It's not like she's leaving the country or something. So I don't think
Right.
it's not gonna be a big deal for them.
Because I think, I mean, Eddie Pun still sees Gaki almost just as frequently at the headquarters. So
But she calls her, so
that too. but-
Stalks her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Just
sure
stalk.
that has to do with stalking more than
Like, where are you right
Captain
now? I'll be
coincidence.
right there. I'm ditching school.
no lie.
Yeah.
Got
Like,
that lie.
where are you
It's
right
like,
now? It's, I'm just heading to
sick
work.
today.
Okay, then.
Hey, I'm going to work early today. No.
And then she'll be like, "Oh, it just so happens I'm already there," and then she runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens as the time progresses towards the graduation. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if we see like some sudden friendships pop up all of a sudden. Maybe even from the Reina Band girls, like you said, Vex. Who knows? We'll have
Yay.
to see when the time comes.
And at least we know that, we're probably going to get morning days and stuff too. So we'll get artificial things, if nothing else.
Yeah, we have to pay for it.
That's always good. But yeah, I mean, all kidding aside, I do like the morning days, so I'm okay with artificial
I do too.
stuff.
I totally like them too.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're all kind of admitting the Reina Gaki one was kind of
That was kind of hard to watch, I have to say. The distance between the girls is like, you might as well just make two separate DVDs.
Please stand closer together.
Yeah.
It's hard to get you in one shot.
Yeah.
and the fact that
that
she was
part.
late in at the beginning was kind of like yeah.
That's kind of expected, but...
Yep. Oh well.
So let's move on to our last topic. Finally, something non-Mumusu related, non-Reina related.
Whoa.
I know,
Whoa.
crazy, right?
On this show?
I know. We're changing it up a bit here now.
Yeah.
So, on Maimi's radio show yesterday, her hour-long talk show, which is really hard to listen to.
Especially if you don't know Japanese.
That too. It's actually, I would argue it's actually even harder to listen to if you know Japanese.
I guess. Makes a little sense.
Anyways, so she had one bit of talk that was slightly interesting that we are going to bring to you on this show today. She said, in talking about Momoiro Clover, which is a group that is making kind of
NG.
I know. It's a bit NG, but Maimi said it, so it's okay. It's not my fault. But yeah, so Momoiro Clover is a group that is making kind of a big boom right now, and Maimi was saying yesterday on her radio show that that is a group that she would like to do a battle of the bands with. They're not actually bands, so I think
They call it that.
yeah. But the Otas were thinking that's probably she wants to say more something like a dance-off, like they had with Cute and Smilage at their dual concert. Because they don't play any instruments or anything, so
Oh, but they do. But in Japan, they do that. They when two groups, even though they're not bands, they
yeah.
like,
I mean,
like have a versus concert.
right.
where-
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the two groups are featured, they call it like a band
Right.
battle. Yeah.
So, I mean, for simplicity's sake, we'll call it a battle of the bands. Even
Okay.
though they don't play instruments, but whatever. So the reasoning behind this is because Maimi feels like there are a lot of similarities between Momoiro Clover and the Cute group, and so her reasons are that the numbers for the group are the same. I don't actually know if this is true or not because I don't know a thing about them, but I assume they both have 5 members.
I think they do. Yeah, probably.
Someone
Whatever.
Google it.
If
I don't
Maimi says yes, it is.
Yeah.
Then yes.
So, sure, according to Maimi.
Yep.
The member colors, they both have member colors, and she says the colors are the same between the two groups.
Really?
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. I trust Maimi on that.
I also will trust Maimi to that.
I assume because those are generic like Japan colors.
I suppose.
Power
but
Ranger colors.
It might be.
Yeah, and yeah, without being obvious, yeah, it's Power Ranger colors. So
But I mean, they might have gone Smilage and throw some purple in there or something.
I guess.
I don't know. Okay, so
There
they have the
is-
same.
There is purple in Momoiro Clover.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
The colors don't match.
Maimi is wrong. What?
Okay, then Maimi has no idea. Well, there goes your
Oh,
corner.
okay,
Maimi.
based on Maimi, well, just the whole
Okay, yeah,
thing.
so we'll assume Maimi is correct, and
Yeah.
so also according to Maimi, the Momoiro Clover concerts are very, very physical, very intense, much like the Cute concerts. There's a lot of dancing, a lot of, I guess, physical stamina that's required that you see on stage, in terms of like dance talent and everything like that. They say, or she says that the level is very high, the performance level is very high for that group,
Okay.
and she feels that for Cute it is also, that's kind of their, I guess, signature trademark when people refer to them within Hello Project.
Right.
They're kind of the dance unit.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says with all these similarities, it would be a good idea to kind of have a dance battle, a concert thing going on. And it's, I don't know, I mean, we've heard in the past that there's a lot of, the Hello girls are definitely interested in the other idol groups out there. And for example, there have been a lot of surveys on TV shows and whatnot where they say like, if you could be in another group, what would you be in? And sometimes the girls have actually picked other specific groups instead of just saying the idol answer like, I only want to be in my group or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on their mind. But I mean, like, would you guys support this? Is this something you would watch, or are you against any sort of collaboration with outside of Hello groups?
I think it would
One-
be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I
But then
would
again,
skip
I
the
do like
Momoiro
other
Clover
groups, so.
segments and just only watch Cute, pretty much.
Yeah.
That kind of defeats the purpose of doing it. So if that's
Yeah.
your like outlook on it, then you should just say you don't want it to
No.
happen.
Because you could just get any other event
just-
and
yeah,
then
do a
just
normal
watch-
Cute concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess.
Pretty much.
So for the sake of this voting, I mean, like, do you guys? So Bex, you definitely want it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dran, what about you?
For a dance battle between Cute and Momo Clover.
I don't like
whatever.
think of it as a full
Any-
concert, but
Any
somehow
verse,
they
yeah, any versus kind of battle.
yeah.
Nah, I would not care.
That's
No,
also
no.
a good answer, actually. Being a
Cool.
Berries fan, that is the correct
Yeah.
answer.
Not just that. I mean, if it was Cute, I might have been interested. But it's like Momo Clover. No.
Also
Not
a
even-
correct answer.
But you could also say for example, like berries versus cute.
Right. Well, that
that-
kind of happens anyway.
Right.
It does?
That's not the question, though. I mean,
Yeah,
It's
it's
Oh,
specific
sure,
to
but
Momoiro
you know,
Clover.
it's you can see it as a battle, anyone versus anyone.
right.
well, I think the emphasis is more outside of HP though.
Yeah, the emphasis is
Right,
with
right.
another group outside. So, like with AKB, Momo Clover, or Jewel Kiss, yeah.
Oh yeah, gotta do the running.
Yeah.
If only for the running, right?
Just for the running. Anyways,
And it becomes not a dance battle; it becomes a marathon.
yeah.
And Maimi will win easily.
That's true.
would. But what about the rest of you guys in Viz Turbos, Kyyuna?
2 words.
I'm a
2
no.
words. Tower Records.
Well, if it's a Tower Records event, yeah, why not? I might go then.
I probably don't.
Only
get to go,
possibility that they will have a joint performance.
That well, I mean, it could be another like, if Sashi throws another idol Matsuri at Budokan or something, that could happen.
Right.
Rare, but no, yeah, Tower Records would probably be, or like a TIF or something, or like some event at Odaiba at Golden Week.
Do you want the building to collapse? Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to
Imagine
collapse
all the
again.
cute otas and the Momoiro Clover otas all on the roof at the same time.
That would
The
be
building
pretty
can't
awesome to
support
see.
much weight.
Someone needs to stream that.
Yeah.
That would be the only problem with this, if you would so call it an event, though, because you're gonna get 2 groups of fans,
Yeah, you've got
and they
one
might
group of
actually.
fans on
they
one
might-
half of the room, and then the other group's fans on the other half of the room.
Yeah, they're probably not gonna riot, but they're gonna most likely try to beat each other in
Yeah.
chanting or whatever. So they might
Yeah, I mean,
actually
that's-
take over the whole show.
I don't know about them
It's a
taking
better
over the
ota.
whole show. It would definitely be an interesting point of contention. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
it gets as bad as people think it would be, but there would be like, shouting, mixing competition kind of thing.
I think most of the fans of other idol groups, when they mix together, are generally like they don't really care about the fans.
Yeah.
Or like other fans, and I don't think there's any sense of hostility because, like, when we see from the music shows like Music Japan and whatnot, they all mix together,
True.
and they all do. The only thing they do that I guess you can consider hostile is like they do stuff that the other groups you're not supposed to do. For example, other idol otas will mix for like a hello performance,
Right.
Right.
and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely something that you're not supposed
It's
to
not
do.
standard.
So pretty much what you're
Well-
saying is that an ota would just want to chant non-stop, no matter what group it is.
Yeah.
just
Well,
like that,
I mean that's like, it just means that they'll do
They're
They-
not competitive, is the thing, right? It's more
right,
just that.
and they're not
it's a
looking to
commu-
like start a fight or anything. They
No,
just do
good.
whatever.
So that would be stupid.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's the mentality you get from a lot of other cultures is that if it's a verse, once it becomes like this is a competition match, like we're going 2 different groups from opposite ends of the thing, then people always interpret it as a competition, so it's one-upping the other team or
Yeah.
winning.
Well, you don't
and
think you would get
that's-
that?
I don't.
Like, you
I don't
need to
think that happens with Japan very often. Even when you have the word verses in their titles, it tends
Yeah.
to not be a direct competition. It's usually
See-
like now's a chance to see both of their skills.
Yeah.
Not necessarily win.
Well, you don't think you'd have like a competition between the fans, like where one group would look over at the other and say, "Look at these noobs, we can chant louder than them."
I think if
Ah,
anything,
or
it
that
would
kind
be
of thing.
like, look at those guys, look at how fat they are.
Yeah.
Or look at how old they are.
Not necessarily hostile competition, but kind of like more like a friendly competition.
They
We're
most
talking about
most likely would
here
troll
about
each other.
Arena.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds like all off-kai stuff. Like afterwards, concert's over, you go drinking and you're like, man, did you see how fat that guy was chanting over there?
You see that Manofura, he's so old.
I know. Sadly enough, that actually happens within Hello as well. So, but on that note about fan competition with each other, I don't know what you would classify this as, but for example, at the Sashi's Idol Matsuri thing,
Right.
when Bono came on stage, right, and obviously there's like 10 to 15 idol groups there, so it's definitely a mix of fans
Yeah.
in the audience. when ID came on stage, everyone was cheering for her, regardless of.
It's ID.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
ID. Yeah,
ID
so that's the thing. You know, it's. I think they'll just cheer for whoever they find cute, regardless of what group they're
Yeah.
associated with.
Makes sense.
And like when Momo came on stage, everyone kind of like booed her. So that's
Just because
Yep.
of what
just
she does on
because it's
TV.
Momo. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
So I think, like, based on that, there probably isn't too much hostility, or too much, not too much competition between the groups. I think everyone would find a way to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely think so.
Yeah. It could
Well, wasn't there a story a few weeks, well, not a few weeks, but a few months ago where Bono went on stage with the Korean group Tiara? And some of the Tiara fans shouted at Miyabi.
That is also
Yeah,
Tower
but
Records.
That it's Tower Records.
Those are Korean fans. That's the difference.
K-pop
Well, I
fans.
know, but I mean,
Oh,
like, I guess there is still that risk because Korean fans or not, they were still Japanese, I assume.
Yeah, but they like Korean music,
mentality is
so
different.
Yeah.
It's true. That's true. But I think the fact it's like anything that's like not idol with K-pop,
Right.
there
Yeah.
has to be a clash there.
different.
Yeah. Even though
But if you're
you
talking-
could argue that K-pop is, you know, borderline idol with the stuff they do in Japan for marketing.
Yeah.
The crowds that support them are really different.
They don't consider themselves idol.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, see? So.
No worries, K-pop's dying out.
Yeah.
Or more like you're if you're an Idol fan and you're listening to us, then you know these things because I mean you're an Idol fan and you've
Right.
heard the flack from the people who like K-pop.
I'm
Yeah.
a fan for both, so
So you should
That
hate
makes-
yourself then.
sure.
Commit
Yeah,
sacrifice.
Holds
Use
up.
your right arm, hit your
Yeah,
left arm.
I just slapped myself,
Awesome.
Yeah.
but I still like them both.
It's fine. No problems with that.
Like
I'll slap myself again.
All right. So on back to this topic though. So we have the cute versus Momokuro, which probably will never happen, but who knows? But as a hypothetical to you guys, like if you could arrange, let's say you're given producer status for a day, if you could arrange a Hello Group collab or Battle of the Bands with any other non-Hello Group, what would you guys pick?
Hello Project versus AKB.
Like the whole world.
Oh god.
That is like
All hell's gonna
what
break
everybody
loose.
has in their mind.
Yeah, that's
I think that would only be good if you narrow it down and you literally only take the top people, as in no backup dancers for the other 40-something people.
they should have a giant election for that actually.
Yeah, like
awesome.
pick which members will go into battle, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. I think that would work.
Yeah, you can
I
send
mean,
but to
that's the
everyone.
only problem.
Send back to everyone. And then like they all collab on one CD and that CD sells like 1 billion sales.
Yeah.
That would be the optimal solution if you were going to do a verse, though. I mean, it has to be near equal numbers. That's the problem with trying to get any 48 group. Is they have too many. And I don't think you want to do 48, like get all of HP into one thing and then match the numbers with
Like
how.
Mobeki Mas versus AKB.
Yeah, that would be way too big. That's kind of the definition of a cluster. I'm not gonna finish that statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We know.
let's stick with the smaller group. I mean, personally, I would kind of want to see that a little bit as well.
10 on 10, man. Or 5v5.
Yeah, but who versus who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do any.
I got a better one then,
Alright.
maybe. Like
I'd ha-
Ono versus Baby Metal.
That could be interesting since their styles.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
They both like pretend to be rock bands.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah.
And Baby Metal pretends to sing. That's cool.
Yeah. Works.
And they're both 3 versus 3, so
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
and they could and they have bands, live bands, both of them. So
Yeah,
That'd be
That could
actually
work,
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
good one.
Very, very nice answer. Anyone else?
Linkyu versus Himekyu. Okay, no.
clearly, my answer was unbeatable.
Yeah.
Well, I don't listen to other idol groups very often, so you got me.
You're missing out.
Only so much time in the day, man. Only so much time.
Okay.
Uh,
The thing though is it's hard to find no comparison when you think about all the top or more known other groups out there. Besides the fact that there's AKB, there's Momokuro, and then if you can consider Perfume as idols, they're like, I don't know, gray
Yeah.
area.
I don't really
Yeah.
consider them. So.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
think they're idols. Yeah, I don't think. They're
Yeah. So that
Like-
and then if you exclude these three main top ones, then it's Hello Project and then everyone else. So
Yeah.
if either you go up a level to go against the big three there, or you beat up all the other little groups that below you.
Which is pretty
are
much
you-
what happens when Up Up Girls goes to an event with other.
or like the one when
Cute
the
went to
when they
it.
go to Shibuya X,
Oh yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
Berries went, they cream everybody. When Cute went, they cream everybody. When Smash went, they cream everybody. So
and
We
that's
could
why
get-
they're always last.
We could
Yeah,
just
they're always
change
the-
the concept though. of
You
the
could
program.
invite a Johnny's Entertainment Group, but that's open on a whole
Oh,
different
oh,
kind of
that's
worms.
a
That's a big can of worms that I don't want to.
Someone's gonna die in that concert. I can tell you.
actually get killed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fangirls and otas mixing
that's
together.
not a good mix.
Oh,
and I
that's
can
not-
tell you, it would be the Otas dying. The fan.
Yeah, the Otas would be dying. Yeah, they're the one taking casualties.
Yeah, that's
So Vex, you had an idea?
Well, we could just change the concept of the show, like maybe not music-wise, but just do a versus battle in like variety show.
Whoa.
Oh, but that would always be interesting. I would
That- Probably a lot better.
It could be a TV show then.
It could work. But when you change it like that, like, not very many idol groups are known for variety, except for idling. But even then, it's only just that one girl. So that's a bit harder to. Or I mean, maybe I just don't watch enough shows, but like it's hard to say like, oh yeah, that group, they're really good for being on TV.
It
But
would
it would
definitely
be-
be safer though. I mean, in terms of like, you wouldn't get as much flack for like one group sings better than the other, blah blah blah,
Right.
because they wouldn't be competing
Definitely.
in that dimension. So
Yeah, because most of the underground idols, the ones that are just starting, are kind of terrible in singing-wise. So
But then, I mean, what are you looking for? Because generally, in an idol variety show, you're just looking for stupid stuff to happen to everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you have a
Yes.
competition for that?
I guess. Well, we had like an idol.
Like they usually do Sports
show
Fest,
for-
I guess.
You
stuff.
are you thinking of Mecha Ike? Because that's just
Was it
more
Mecha Ike?
comedic purpose.
Was it Master Ika?
That,
Or
that
Black
big
Variety.
And they
idol
drag
thing.
Momo out.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah,
where
the
Momo
dragging-
gets kicked in the face like 10 times.
I guess.
Yeah, that was Mecha Ike.
yeah, that was Ninja Ika. That was the no AKB
Yeah.
blah blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely something you can do, but again, like, I guess
Make it more serious.
who wins that? That's really all in the hands of the comedians who choose what jokes they pull.
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah,
will-
obviously.
And also,
Yeah.
Make it more
who
serious,
wins doesn't matter there.
That also. Too.
Yeah, that's true. It's just whoever's funny.
I mean, regardless who won, I think everyone can agree that Momo came out way on top because that sparked her
Yeah,
TV
yeah,
career
true.
for the next year. That
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah, that's
Yuristanon
true.
thing.
It still happens. Oh my god.
No.
Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
more
I mean, if you're talking about changing the criteria, you could always try to Sports Fest, but Sports Fest results were so. I mean, the attendance got so low near the end. That's why they don't really do them anymore.
Which is too
But
bad.
the
'cause I would
size of
really
the
love to go
arena
to
and-
again. Well, yeah. I mean, they can maybe they can pick like a smaller, like an outdoor field of like a school or something.
Like a school sports field.
Well, I mean, they were doing like what, the Toyota Dome. That
Yeah.
thing is
Yeah.
huge. There's no way they're gonna fill that.
No. Well, even AKB when they tried,
Yeah,
They-
they,
they had
their thing
like
was
these
pretty empty
small
too.
venues. Yeah, small venues.
Yeah.
Well,
that
even when you
brings
look at the
up the
Olympics, I mean, half the time the stadiums are empty there.
Yeah.
So, what chance does an idol group have?
Right.
Well, in the Olympics defense, you couldn't get Wi-Fi in the Olympics.
That's very relevant.
God, the horrors, man.
I just wanted to make a topical joke. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Any last suggestions before we close off this topic?
I
No,
guess
I
not.
think-
Right. So, that ends up our discussions for today. We have one question from our Takamata forum, which was proposed to us earlier today, I believe. It is from Kulapika. This is actually already answered by Turbos86 a little bit, but we're going to bring it up on air just to kind of rehash kind of things, because we have covered this topic in the past. So the gist of the question is basically looking at Smilage sales over the past singles have been hovering around, say, the 20-25k mark for first week, and in comparison with the indie level sales, it's about the same 20-25k mark, not counting the graduation singles. So the question is, do you agree or disagree that the current Smilage lives up to the current strength of the 4-member Smilage?
Nope.
Hold on.
No Yuka. No Yuka.
Yeah,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
hold on. Or is 20k sales just a base and minimum for any group under Hello Project? No,
It's
come on.
20
Where's the
20K
mono
has-
fans here?
You told us wait.
Okay, fine. Okay.
We were
I
waiting.
think people
Okay.
care too much about sales.
Right, so meaning that there's enough otas that love all of HP who will keep the base of 20k for every group no matter what the song is. Okay, now you guys can go off.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say I think people care too much about sales.
Yeah, same.
I mean, if you like the group, like the group. If you don't, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but if you
That's-
don't buy the
But if
stuff,
they don't make enough sales, then
you
obviously
get
they're gonna
graduated.
just yeah.
Nah, I don't think it's that.
Like,
Mono
Because
says
it also
otherwise.
means because it
Yeah, but he's
group is
solo,
not enough money to support the group.
and she's and the Smilers is still selling pretty much the same as what they were selling anyway. So
Right,
whatever.
so
Yeah,
let's look into
but-
that. Turbos, what was your point on this? Because it's
I'm looking
essentially
away right now.
Oh shit!
Kelly!
special
Kelly
guest
knows
Deli
Its
Kun
answer.
for this very serious topic.
Yeah. So, so yeah. So Smartage, they're selling about the same as before now, not because it's more because of how the company is making more events, giving people fans more opportunity to buy multiple copies instead of more fans buying one copy.
Right.
So it's more of turning the group into a hardcore fan base. So that is actually a sign of a decline
Right.
instead of you wouldn't have the EFA wouldn't have to do this if the group wasn't going downhill.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just try that.
I mean, so to recap Deli Kun here, if you look at the level of sales for Smilage, to us, if you take purely that the sales figures in isolation without any context around it, it looks like the group is stable and there's essentially no change, whether it's 4-member or however, how many girls are in the round? 7? 6?
Thanks.
6. So it looks like essentially, despite the huge lineup changes, there's essentially no change in sales. If you start adding the marketing effects into context, you'll realize that for the recent singles for the 6-member group, there's a ton of release events. There's the group shot event, there's the handshake event, and there's that 10-second talk event or whatever. They have gone like AKB style promotion on these singles, and yet despite that, they're still only pulling the same level of sales as the 4-member pre-crazy marketing levels. What should happen is you should see an incredible burst in sales. For example, what you saw on Momusu for their past 2-3 singles, they went up to 100k when they threw all these crazy marketing. Look at Cute, when they did their crazy marketing, they went up to what, 40-50k, and before that they were only like 20k, 20-25k.
Yeah.
Right. So you should see something where there's like a huge jump. If Smilage was doing 20k pre these marketing events, they should jump up to 40-50k if their fan base had not changed or remained stable throughout this entire time. However, you throw all these marketing events and their sales are only barely getting to what they were prior to this, you know that their fan base has diminished significantly, and it's just, I guess if you just look at the sales numbers in isolation, it looks like everything's fine. But you have to take into context of what exactly is going on in with UFA and their strategy for handling Smilage's group. Any other thoughts? Delikun, say something.
Silicon is gone. I'm
Oh,
back.
I'm pretty sure UF likes to just make as much money as possible of Smilets
absolutely.
and don't really care too much about it. They're just, I mean, I see people thinking because of all the drops in sales that they're gonna disband soon, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Well, I don't think any of the groups will disband anytime soon. But the thing is, you would be misled to think that they are fine or that nothing has changed over the past year or however long since Yuka left. Because I mean, since the sales numbers have been relatively the same, people, or at least the Western fans, think, oh yeah, no, they're doing fine. They're doing exactly how they were when they had Sakachi and Yuka. But they don't
We have
realize-
live listener comments saying that they think Upfront has given up on Smilage.
No,
I
they've
think
given up-
Is
that's
it
not.
Sanrio in chat?
No. I don't think that's a correct statement to say. If it was the case, then they wouldn't even bother with all these heavy promotions,
They would be disbanded by now then, if that's the case.
or just
Oh,
left to
graduated
die.
off, like Mono.
Right.
Yeah.
Mono.
Mono is solo, so it's a different thing, to
Well,
be
yeah,
honest.
they approached it a little bit different, but that's still the same idea where she wasn't selling well enough, so they decided to do something, and that something just happened to graduate. Or sad.
How old is
Anyway.
Mono?
Mono's 21.
Okay.
Was that relevant in some way? Or...
Sure, because you guys always say that age matters in idols, so
Oh.
That's because the fans think it matters. Then it matters. They don't want to see girls that are too old. But then AKB changed all the rules on that. With
Monika
Monika-
needs to
like-
graduate
like-
already.
Monica was like what,
She's-
26,
She's
She's
27 now?
26. Yeah,
she's awesome.
that's like I can be an
Forever
idol.
21. Forever 21.
I'm gonna join Team A. Okay, maybe not.
That's
I
going
might-
to be awkward.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just how the fans, the general public, consider idols to be young girls.
Right. I mean, since they're the ones spending, they really call all the shots. So.
Yes, they do, yeah.
Yeah. Or perhaps for Smilets, maybe the Japanese view of Smilets changed in the way of we're only gonna buy a single if the song is good, and not particularly because Yuka is
Well,
in
for sure,
it.
there's gonna be people like that, but then there's also the core base which will buy it regardless, just so they can have a chance to meet the girl.
Yeah.
And you gotta satisfy those people as well as the general people or the other idol fans. It's not an easy thing to do.
Perhaps we'll see another generation soon.
Third gen. Mono for third gen Smilage.
No, well, another gen would just. I think that would just make it worse if they did that this soon-ish.
I think the only way to make it better. I think the only way to make it better would be to get rid of everyone except Dawa. I'm just going on that limb there.
Whoa,
Well,
I would think the
isolate.
opposite.
Yeah, you should
Wow.
just get rid of Dawa. Actually.
Yeah.
There's there's these two camps basically out.
Yeah, the Dawa less and then the Dawa.
Yes, the Dawa camp and the Dawa less camp.
I think okay. What we should do is we should take Ikubo, trade her to Smilage, and we'll take Fukuda.
Right?
Oh,
Is there a
equal
second-
for P-Berry.
Yeah, that's like win-win for everyone, right?
Okay.
Not really.
Why not? Mamusu gets Kanon. That's awesome.
Sure, that's cool, but Ikubo needs to get the fuck out.
I
What?
just came in. I'm willing to agree to that trade right now.
This isn't the NBA.
Hey, it's a good trade. I mean, we're getting like what, a +10, and we're only, and like Eddie Plum's probably like a 3.
No, we're trading Ikubo.
Not
now.
trading anyone.
Oh, Ikubo. Oh,
Now he's
I
got
don't know,
reading.
maybe-
They- they're
maybe
social
change
trade.
the trade.
The change is the matter.
Man, that changes the numbering. Maybe a 2 then. But we still plus on an 8, so it's still good.
Okay.
We're kind of looking up these stats.
Sports.
Oh, I just make up these stats in my head. It's all good.
Okay.
This is like fantasy basketball.
Yeah, we'll publish our own
Yes.
fantasy league soon.
You
Oh,
could
God.
trade them, have your own anti-team,
Yeah.
see who does good.
Oh,
Hello, Pro
Okay.
League.
all right.
Hello Pro Fantasy
I
League
agree with
chart
this
their
idea.
popularity based on how much you can trade their blinds for.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, people already do that. They just don't call it a league.
So on that note, any last thoughts? If not, Invis, why don't you wrap up the show?
okay, I think we've explained that well enough, but if you guys have a differing opinion, you're welcome to give us your own feedback on our forum.takamaruyo.net. The question is currently up in the questions and topic gathering thread for the show Konya mo Takamaruyo, so if you want to add in a little bit of your sense, you can add it into that conversation, as well as give us any other questions you might have for, any future shows or even for possible articles for the future. We're always looking for new things that we might think you might want to see on our site, or things that we can do for our shows. That includes Konya, Hatana, or I don't know if you have minor suggestions, I guess, for the small RP show that everybody does on Fridays. Whatever.
Yay!
Give us some feedback. So, that's always available for you, but let's go ahead and break down what's happened this week. So that's This Week in Takamaruyo. So if you've been listening to us on iTunes or watching us on YouTube, our website is takamaruyo.net, where you can come and look for all your interesting HP news gathered together, including our Takamata picks, which are supposed to boost you up. For the past week, we've had a nice picture of Kika and Fuku-chan together, so nice little caption. Always looking for more of those. Again, you guys can drop by, give us a line. For anything that you guys see that you guys want to give suggestions for, including this show and the VODs for any of the other shows that we do, you're welcome to leave comments at the bottom. We're looking for new comments and feedback. We have a Twitter, so you can leave us information there. That's at Konya TKMR as the source. Ratings on iTunes, ratings on YouTube, always welcome. YouTube channel is also Konya TKMR. And this week, we've basically not been doing much, but we do have a Radio Fridays up. So Radio Fridays 38.
Yay.
And I'm happy to announce that I've just got word that we're bringing back Takamata Mondays, where we gather the interesting facts from the past week, the news that you might want to catch up with, if so happens you weren't keeping up with us already. So, yay! Good for that. We're hoping that you guys have been enjoying the experience. I know we're running a bit long this episode. This was episode 48 of Konya mo Takamaruyo, so hopefully everybody enjoyed it. What's today's date? I like to date these so that we're sure. December 8th.
9th.
Oh, the 8th.
Depending on where you
well,
are.
Depending on where you are. It is the weekend of December 8th/9th. Hopefully you've enjoyed episode 48. So for Turbos86, S. Ferris, Bex, Kyyuna, our special guest Dran, and our even specialer guest analyst Deli-kun, this was Invis saying bye, Pong!
Thanks for watching.
Enjoy!